Hey guys, so for today's video, I was thinking about showing um, the stat PDF, or not PDF, Excel that I got. I usually look at that when I'm gonna make a new Dino. I was thinking about making a new Dino, and I was looking at the stat, and I thought, hey, um, might as well share this. So if you want to see the stats yourself, I'll put the link down below. I'm just gonna go over it real quick of different stats of the dinos. Alright, so here we have the stats sheet, and when you open it, the top ones are the modded dinosaurs, so you can play these dinosaurs on the community servers, but we're going to look at the green one down here, which is the official. So typically I just reference this spreadsheet when I make a new dino to kind of see my matchups, who I should avoid, who I probably could take on in a fight, and who I could outrun, right? So the main things I kind of take a look at is combat weight, because max health is good too, just to know like your health pool, but at the end combat weight really does matter. I believe that after every bar of growth there's a pretty hefty scale up to your max combat weight, so you kind of want to know who your matchup is. I think this is already kind of organized in that way by combat weight. You can see highest to lowest, and you kind of want to hover around your combat weight when you're fighting or planning to fight people. It's like this, right? Thal and Alio. This is a pretty significant combat weight. That's why, look, this guy's combat weight is 1,300. It's like down here. No wonder he's so squishy. And that also damage, I think, also is a variable that is scales with combat weight, I believe, because I know these little munchkins biting a T-Rex does not do much damage, and I know combat weight's something to consider. So like, even so, imagine you as a juvie trying to bite a T-Rex, you know, like even smaller, or like even way less than this, you're not gonna do any damage. So that's something to look at. I also look at sprint speed, just so I know if I could outrun something. If they're kind of similar in stats, like these two right here, you know, consider also getting the speed subspecies, because that, I think, boosts it by, I don't think it's a lot. I heard someone say it's like 5% more on your sprint speed. I'm not sure, but yeah, you know, when I first looked at this, I was kind of surprised at some of the sprint speeds. I was like, whoa, that guy's pretty fast. So this is something to look at, so you can kind of see who you could outrun. Also, what I do is, if I have problems with certain people, I usually take a look at this to see like, oh, you know, I could have outrun that guy. Man, I should have just done that. Or, oh, I cannot outrun that guy. I was doomed from the start. So that's something to take a look at. Sprint speed. And then last but not least, the abilities, right? So I take a look at this just because I want to know what I should be looking out for and what to avoid. So I'm spending a lot of time over here at the carnivores because I play herbivores, and I tend to want to know what I'm going into, right? So T-Rex has the strong, I think it has the highest damage, 80. This is a base bite attack, which doesn't use stamina. Its base is 80, so I don't think anything is that high. And its charge is 80, so that's like a 160 off the bat. Charge and bite, bam. I think my math is right? And then look, the Sarco, charge, bite, 210. So usually people do this charge up the bite. They use the rush in tail attack thing, the lunge, and boom, they get a 210 on you, you know. And that's like, look at the health pool on some of these guys over here. You know, it's like 600 on an adult
Stego. Imagine if you're a Juvie or Addo, you know, you're gonna that's a hefty bite. What is it? 210 I said. Yeah. So consider that when you're looking at this. Think about the types of attacks, and then what else? Look at this pike, 110 on that charge attack, and it's a knockback. You know, and this guy's is relatively squishy, so it's deceiving because you think like, oh, okay, you know, he's squishy, but then he hits you with the charge attack and it's 110. You know, that's a lot of damage to some guys. And then here, you know, when I was making my my main, which is this die, I was like, oh, okay, look, he does the charge is 70 and a 1 bleed tick. So what I understand too on bleeds is it scales when someone runs. So if it's a 1 bleed per tick, I believe it goes up to 2 or 3 when they're sprinting. So that's why you want to not run when you're getting bled. But again, it's usually hard because if they're bleeding you, you're probably trying to run away from them chasing you, right? Or if they've done a lot of damage, they'll just bleed you and then just follow you until you die. So that's something to take a look at if you're making a dino. So from the herbivores, you know, you got the charge attack from the Eotrike, and then he has a modifier, 1.3 modifier on his attacks. The style, like that's a 70 on the charge attack plus a 1 bleed per tick. Headbutts is a 70 and a 0.5 bleed tick. So that's pretty good. This is what you kind of want to stack all the time, is the bleed, and do this with him. Albert, look, I didn't even know Albert's bite is a bleed, but his headbutt is not. So is this something you guys knew? See, I didn't know all this. This is why I refer to this when I'm making a dino. Look at this, charge attack is 120, just like an Eotrike, but he's smaller and more agile, you know? So those are things to take a look at when you're making a new dino, and just kind of think about matchups as well. What dino you have a hard time fighting or a hard time running away from, and this you could take a look to see like, oh, I could run away from this guy, or you know what, I could have took on this guy because our combat weight was the same. But yeah, so take a look at this, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there were any surprises on the stats. I know you know, a dino game, not a lot of people probably min-max, but for all the PvPers out there and you kind of really want to know stats, this is something to take a look at. And let me know too if this is outdated or not, because I found this on Reddit, and I just been going off of this. Alright, thanks guys.